Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. So I've been talking a lot about my favorite contemporary romances and historical romances, a fantasy romance that I love recently, but I also wanted to talk about one of my favorite subgenres of romance, and that is paranormal romance. So I've been reading paranormal romances for as long as I've been reading romance. It might have actually been the very first subgenre that I read. I remember going to the library and discovering the adult romance section, specifically the paranormal romances and all the mass market paperbacks that were there, and I basically just gobbled them up. I could not stop reading them. I think I only read paranormal romance for a long period of time before I branched out to all the other subgenres. There's something just so addicting about paranormal romances. You get to read about vampires, werewolves, magic, demons, angels, whatever, and all the sexy times that come with them, and watch them fall in love. Like these thousand-year-old, extremely powerful, magical beings, and then they fall in love with some random human. Like, who wouldn't want that? In today's video, I wanted to talk about some of my favorites, the ones that I loved growing up as a teen reading, and the ones that I still continue to read today. Of course, I have to start off with one of my all-time favorites. It might be my top favorite paranormal romance series. I love it so freaking much. I have so many top favorites in that series. I still read it today, and that is the Psy Changeling series by Nalini Singh. So this is one of my all-time favorites, if not like my absolute top favorite paranormal romance series. It's such a fascinating, incredible world. It's one of those worlds that I would love to live in myself. It's this world that consists of humans, changelings, which are essentially shifters, and the Psy are more on the human side. They don't shift or anything, but they do have magic powers, except they don't really have emotions. Like, they have absolute control over their emotions. They went through this thing called silence that pretty much erased all feeling, so that they wouldn't go crazy over the immense power that they have. So book one is Slave to Sensation. It is one of my favorites of the series. So the series is basically like Psy meets changeling meets human. The three are very segregated, but slowly throughout the series, they fall in love with each other. The first one is about a leopard alpha changeling and a powerful Psy. Lucas is one of my all-time favorites of the series. I love this changeling. I love this series so much. Nalini's writing is incredible. The romances are so sensual, so romantic. I remember when I first discovered the series, I think the first 12 books were out already, and I just binged them all. I could not put it down. I couldn't stop reading. I just read them one after the other. Slave to Sensation is one of my top favorites, and I also have two of my other favorites in hardcover. Like, these are my top three of the series that are must reads, and they are Kiss of Snow and Heart of Obsidian. These three are the most alpha of the alpha men in the series. Slave to Sensation, like I said, is the leopard alpha changeling. Kiss of Snow, we have Hawk. He is the wolf changeling alpha, and Heart of Obsidian is pretty much the Psy alpha. They don't really have labels for that kind of thing like they do for the changelings. The hero, Caleb, is the most powerful Psy in the world. So if you haven't read this series, please do. You will fall in love with all of these characters. There are a ton of them, but you actually like get to know them very well. You fall in love with these packs, with the leopards, with the wolves, and we also get to learn about bears, who are my new favorite. They are such addicting reads. Yes, there are about 15 books in the original series, but trust me, they're all worth it. Once you start reading, you won't want to stop. If you have read this series, let me know which one's your favorite. So this next series is one that I binged only a couple months ago. I think it was late last year. I originally read this series out of order. Like, I tried to read the original prequel novella, like book 0.5, and I didn't really like it. I didn't like the writing, the humor, it just wasn't working for me. So then I skipped all the way to book 12, the one that everybody loved, and I actually really enjoyed it. But I was kind of lost, so I didn't really feel like going back and reading. Not until years later, like last year, that I finally caught up and read the series in order, and that is the Immortals After Dark series by Kresley. So the series centers around Valkyrie women, and they're tasked with fighting vampires who have gone out of control. We have like every single paranormal creature we can think of in this series, and they're all so well written. The Valkyrie women are basically alpha women themselves. They're so awesome. They're hilarious. I didn't really expect the humor in this series, but it's so funny. So the first book is A Hunger Like No Other. I know Goodreads says it's number 2, but this is technically the first full-length book of the series, and I do recommend reading this one first and not the prequel novella, because I got totally lost when I read the prequel first. This one is a fantastic series starter. I was laughing my ass off reading this one. The heroine is half vampire, half Valkyrie, and the hero is pretty much the alpha of the werewolves, or the Lycae as they call the werewolves here. Lachlan, the hero, he's been trapped for hundreds and hundreds of years and tortured, so he's pretty much going out of his mind, except that when he gets a whiff of the heroine as she travels in Paris, he manages to escape by literally ripping his leg apart so that he can escape the chains around his foot that are holding him down. So the best word I can describe the series is over the top. As you can tell by the hero literally ripping himself apart to go after his mate. The series is also super sexy. I don't think that Kresley can write a non-sexy adult romance book. So I got so addicted to this series. I literally read books 1 through 12 within like 2 weeks, I think. My favorite one is still up there. I reread it and changed my 4-star rating to a 5-star rating. I reread his book all the time now. It's so good. He is kind of an anti-hero. He's been one of the villains throughout the series, except he does do good things sometimes, and we get to see him fall in love with a human who is being possessed by a crazy goddess. I don't know if it's just me, but this is like the one book series that I can never remember all the titles of, or in whatever order. Like, each book has 5 to 6 words on them. They all blend together and sound the same. Like these ones: A Hunger Like No Other, Dreams of a Dark Warrior, Dark Needs at Night's Edge. Like, I literally don't know what numbers these are. I couldn't even tell you who the hero or heroine is. I might have to look at the blurb to remember. Like, is this just me, or am I going crazy? I just don't remember the book titles for this series. So my next favorite is a vampire series. The author is probably one of those OG paranormal romance authors, and I know I should probably talk about her original Night Huntress series, but I decided to talk about the Night Prince series instead because I love this one so much more. The first 3 or 4 in the Night Huntress series are really good, but the series ending was kind of underwhelming for me. But this was not. All 4 books are absolutely amazing, and the hero is literally Vlad Tepes, Dracula, although he hates being referred to like that. He is the only vampire in existence to be able to create fire with his body. He falls in love with a human named Layla, but she's not a normal human. After an accident involving lightning, she has the magic ability to touch something, like a human or an object, and learn about all of its worst and greatest memories. So book 1 is Once Burned. Vlad is one of my all-time favorite heroes ever. He is, of course, an alpha. If you couldn't tell, I love alpha heroes. You probably should read Night Huntress first, just because Vlad is first introduced there. He is kind of the frenemy of the main characters. He helps out, but reluctantly. This is a series that follows one couple, unlike a lot of other paranormal romance series. There is also another spin-off series of the Night Huntress series. This series is about Ian, who is pretty much the playboy of the series. He's a man whore. All he does is make sex jokes, and that is the Night Rebel series. This is kind of an opposites attract. Ian is a player. He goes against all rules, and the woman that he falls for is a law guardian. So essentially like a law enforcer, and sparks happen when they meet. I'm dying for the next book. It won't be released until next year, unfortunately. We have like a 2-year wait. The release date got pushed back, but I'm eagerly waiting for it, and I do believe because the release date was pushed back that the 3rd and final book should also be releasing next year, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I already mentioned the series a little bit in my Four Horsemen video, and that is Larissa Ione's Lords of Deliverance series. This book is the last one about pestilence. He lands somewhere in the middle of the woods next to a cabin, and he has no memory of who he is and is rescued by a human woman. In addition to the Lords of Deliverance series, Larissa Ione also has another paranormal romance series called the Demonica series. Both series do kind of merge together. I love both. The Demonica series is about this underworld hospital and the surgeons and EMTs who work there who are all demons. The series is super hot, super sexy. It's borderline erotic almost, but definitely give this author a try if you haven't already. This next series is written by one of my favorite urban fantasy authors. They're an author duo, and they published a paranormal romance series with Avon, and that is the Hidden Legacy series by Ilona Andrews. Book 1 is Burn For Me. These covers are kind of terrible, I'm not gonna lie. Like, just look at these. But I promise the inside is so much better than the outside. So in this paranormal world, there are humans, and then there are humans with magic abilities. Our heroine, Nevada, she has the ability to tell when someone's telling a lie. She is a private investigator, and she is tasked with finding this out-of-control magic user. Our hero is Rogan, who is known as Mad Rogan. He is probably the most powerful telekinetic, like he could literally move mountains. And he is this dark, kind of mysterious billionaire who is also after the same man that Nevada is going after. So they join forces to find the rogue magic user, and they're pretty hilarious together. They have witty one-liners. Their chemistry is off the charts. The world building is just so amazing. I love Ilona Andrews and the way they can just create this awesome epic world full of magic, powerful families, feuds. And I also really love Nevada's family. They are a very close-knit family. She has 2 other sisters. She is the oldest. And the middle sister, Catalina, she's getting a spin-off series, which the first book is releasing next month in August, I believe. I've already read it, and it's so good. She has this magic ability to make anyone fall in love with her, and she falls for an Italian playboy prince. But there is more than meets the eye with him. Turns out he is also an assassin. So they have their work cut out for them. This is an incredible series full of amazing world building and full of great characters that you can't help but fall in love with. I highly recommend it. Nevada and Rogan series is only 3 books, so very doable compared to the rest of the series in this video. So I hope you give them a try. So these next 2 paranormal romance series, it's quite a non-traditional paranormal romance. Like, we get to know the characters when they're super young, and then as they grow older, and then they fall in love. The first one is called Wolf Song by TJ Klune. It is a male-male paranormal romance. It is probably one of the most beautifully written books I have ever read. Ox, our narrator, is a human, and he falls in love with a werewolf. He doesn't really know that they're a werewolf until later in his life, but he pretty much gets accepted into their family, and it's so well written. The love story is absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. It can be read as a standalone. Wolf Song can be read as a standalone, but there are other books in the series that feature other gay werewolf couples. I haven't read them yet, but I'm planning to. These books are really long. They take a lot out of you. They're very emotional, gorgeous, and I highly recommend them. So the other indie series is written by Ruby Dixon. This is her Dragon Shifter post-apocalyptic series called the Fire Blood Dragon series. Book 1 is Fire in His Blood, and probably still my favorite of the series. In this post-apocalyptic world, these dragons magically appeared out of nowhere and started devastating the world, causing so much chaos. There are gold dragons and red dragons, and the gold ones are male, and they pretty much find their mates in humans. It's quite funny sometimes just because the heroines are like, am I going crazy for falling in love with a dragon the size of a house who can also shift into a human male. I love these dragon heroes. They're the type of heroes who will do anything for the heroines, protect them, feed them, care for them. I almost kind of prefer the series over Ruby's other sci-fi series about her blue aliens. I did get a little tired of her later books in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, but with the Dragon series, they're all super exciting, super romantic and sexy, and just a really good shifter romance series. So if you're looking for something like that, or if you love dragons, read the series. So no paranormal romance series list is complete without the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. Of course, this series is on my list. This is one of my favorites. I still read it, I still love it. These are the first 3 books. I have the 2 different editions of the first book, Dark Lover. I recently just bought the original cover at a used bookstore. So this series is definitely one of the top favorites for vampire series. Book 2, Lover Eternal, is my all-time favorite. I love Rage. He's my favorite brother. And the series is just like alpha vampire sexy goodness, and definitely binge-worthy. I remember starting the series when the first 10 were out. I had to wait for book 11, which was such torture because the 11th couple, the romance book of the series, their romance had been anticipated and leading up since like book 4 or 5. So it was quite the wait. Totally worth it. I do have it in hardcover. It's gorgeous. Lover at Last. And this is a series where you fall head over heels in love with this brotherhood. All of these boys are so great, so amazing. I mean, I do have my favorites and I have my lesser favorites. I know my friend Jess from Peace Love Books loves Butch, but Butch is kind of to be honest. I'm sure you've heard all the raves, all the reviews already, and there's nothing new I can say that anyone else hasn't already said. So read the series if you haven't already. This is one of the best vampire series out there. The later books in the series aren't quite the same just because they're not as romance centered. There's a lot of outside forces going on, lots of different plots, but I do love the series. I do still keep reading it, and I probably won't stop until it's done. And if you have read this series, let me know which brother is your favorite. Just to let you know, Rage is mine. I love him with all my heart. And that's it for today. I'm probably missing a couple other favorites, but I'm sure I'll make another list of all my other paranormal romance faves. I tried to include like not your typical paranormal romances that everyone has read, like the BDB series. So hopefully you found a new series to add to your TBR and binge and love them like I did. And I'll see you next time. Bye!